So that was Destiny's Child by Aengus Devine, and you're not going to believe it, but we actually have on our Voice FM this morning, we have Aengus Devine on the line. Are you there, Aengus?
John, I'm here and I'm delighted to be here. How are you?
We're doing great. That was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tune. Before we get into your music now, we did want to focus on something else, didn't we?
Yes, we did indeed. Jay, your morally your image more than anything. So what's the story with your hat and the whole image do you have?
Oh, well, there's a whole team of people behind that, you know. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's not something you just come up with on your own, you know. Yeah, I mean, I have people working around the clock on that image. So I can't really, you know.
You've your own wardrobe department.
That's it, yeah.
But I just, for any of our listeners out there, check out, just all you have to do is Google Aengus Devine at the moment and you'll see a very, how would you say, unique image. I love it. I love it, Aengus. It's absolutely a great image. And it ties in with, I know in one of your blurbs there, you've a reference to Woody Allen films. There's a bit of a Woody Allen look about that image as well, isn't there?
Well, I'm sorry you brought that up. I can't really talk about that, but you know, I would have gone more for Elvis Costello now. You know, that's okay. Maybe a little bit more. You know, what I was going for.
We'll let the listeners decide. So we'll let the listeners.
Okay.
So.
You are a writer and a performer and a producer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of which area do you prefer?
Sorry, Patricia, I didn't catch that.
So you're a writer and a performer and a producer. Which area would you prefer?
So which gives you the most enjoyment? What do you...
yeah, I suppose, you know, when you write a song, it's a lovely thing to happen, and you just... That's kind of the best part, because you don't know what's going to happen with it, you know? So when you go into then to produce it in the studio, it becomes something else kind of, and you don't, you know, sometimes you don't have a lot of control over that. So it's an exciting kind of process, and it's all kind of the one thing. But I suppose when you write something first, maybe that's the real moment of kind of excitement, you know. And it's an amazing, but it's kind of out of necessity now that I do all these things, because you know it's hard to have a budget to pay those musicians to come in and play in the studio, and if you wanted to get a good producer, you know, somebody well known who's been doing it for years, that's gonna be huge money as well. So it's kind of a necessity, you know, really a necessity.
Well, even wasn't it Villagers? They won an award for an album that was produced in their bedroom, you know, that was a couple of years ago. Am I right? You'd know more about that, Aengus, than I would. But I'm nearly sure. I'm really sure that they recorded that in their bedroom. Or in a room.
Yeah, I don't know a huge amount of that. That's Conor O'Brien, and I think it's fairly kind of, you know, it's done in a fairly low key way. I'm not 100% about that, but I think a lot of people are doing that, and the technology now has made it easier to, let's say, record at home. Like I would record some stuff at home and then go into a studio in Dublin, AP Studios, of a friend. He's Italian actually, and Antimo Puca is his name, and he has his own studio in Dublin. And it's, you know, I think the studio, you need to go in and finish stuff there really to polish it up, and you know, you need somebody with that kind of real, you know, engineering expertise to really make it sound good, you know. Because that's what you need to do, I think, to make a good record, you know.
I was researching you there during the week, Aengus. I was having a good look at your stuff, and some of your stuff on YouTube, you're just standing there in the kitchen with a guitar and you're singing away, and it's lovely. It's absolutely beautiful. And then I went on to some of those same songs are on your new album, which we'll come to in a minute. And it's like listening to two totally different songs in many ways, like just with the extra instrumentation and the that kind of, how would you say, studio microphone sound as well. So it's gas, all right, what you can do in a studio, how you can enhance.
Well, it's like, you know, when I go out and play, I'm going to be playing on my own, really, all the gigs that I'm going to be doing, hopefully soon, and I have to kind of do acoustic versions of the things, of the songs. I have to kind of translate them into that. So I'd have to do them maybe on an acoustic guitar, piano, and some on electric guitar, but just on their own. So I kind of had to adjust them a little bit. But and it's kind of, and obviously when you listen, you know, if it's a phone recording, it's going to sound a bit crap, you know. So it's
we've listened to a lot of your stuff. None of your stuff sounds crap. I can tell you that now. It's lovely, absolutely.
Well,
and that brings us on. And Tricia has another question here. Which
Did you study music, or are you self-taught?
Oh, well, when I was very young, when I was about 4, I started playing the piano, and then I had lessons for a few years, and it was classical stuff, you know, and I just wasn't interested. I could never, you have to be in a sight read music to do classical stuff, really, and I was always hopeless at that, you know. Right. So I always kind of played by ear, and I just gave that up and just always played by ear after that. And it was the piano originally, and then I suppose I started playing the guitar when I was about 12, maybe, and just went on from there. You know, and it's just playing by ear is just a thing you just do, and it's very. I think it's hard to read music when you do that, and I just wasn't interested. You know, now I love listening to classical stuff, but I've just no interest in playing that type of stuff. That's for other people to do who are really good at it, you know. I
did see, now that you mentioned it, what's caught my eye there now was your how to say, the music you like varies from Planxty to Debussy, which is that's a broad range there now, Aengus, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Debussy is great. I'm sure everybody would know stuff by Debussy. Like if you've ever seen Ocean's 11, there's a piece called Clair de Lune which is used at the end of it. And it's such a brilliant. It's originally a piano piece, and it's Debussy was very jazzy. You know, he was out before kind of jazz came in. So you know, he feeds into all that. You know, what eventually became, let's say, popular music, rock and roll, and all that. You know, so he's an important guy. Really, he was very, very ahead of his time.
Now, Aengus, you have a new album out called.
I do.
ADHD.
ADHD. Can you tell us a bit about it and how you come up with the title?
Oh, the title, well, the title is just kind of so people, you know, maybe get a bit of a giggle out of it, really. Like, it's really just my initials, and HD is high definition, I suppose, because it's a studio production. And everybody knows ADHD. You hear it every day of the week, you know. It's just going to become that thing. So I just thought maybe, you know, that might be kind of a bit of a kind of decent enough. It's the best title I could come up with. Put it
Yeah, your wardrobe department didn't have any say in that at all, did they? No.
They didn't. No, I think they were dead against it, to be honest with you.
Well, it's a fantastic album. I've listened to a good few tracks off it, and I hope you don't mind me saying so, but as I was listening to it, normally when like what gets me is with some artists is that once you hear them on the radio, you kind of say, "Oh yeah, that's him." With you, you're very different. Every song seems to have a different vibe going on, because I was listening to some songs and they were reminding me of Billy Joel. Another one, I was saying, God, a bit of an Oasis feel there. And there was one of them there which I really liked was Don't Hold Out on Me. And that brought me back. And this is why I love music, Aengus, is that music can send you back to places. And there was a bit of a Blades thing going on there for me. And it's, you know, other people mightn't hear it, but I kind of said to myself, wow, like that's just, it just did something for me. And I was bopping away to it, and it was really, really nice. And you had another kind of a gospel-y one there on the album as well.
Yeah. Don't Hold It, or what is it called? Let My Burden Be.
Let My Burden Be, which was gorgeous. So, like, there is your variety of the way you use your voice, the way you use the, you know, music and riffs and rhythms is, I think everybody will find something on that album that they're just going to click with, and you know, I hate putting people into boxes, and I can't put you into a box, which is great, because you're so diverse. And so
I'd rather not get into a box. Sorry, go on.
No, but do you plan that? Do you plan that? Say, no, I don't want this to sound like another song, or do you just create and write?
I mean, look, I would be very partial to the 60s stuff, you know, the classic guitar bands from the 60s and all, but I listen to everything, you know. And I like albums. I like listening to something that has lots of different things on it.
Yeah.
Like, I think, you know, Beck, the great American guy, he's just released so many different types of albums. And I love people like that who just don't give a damn, you know.
Yeah.
About, you know, genre. I hate that. Just write the bloody song. Whatever happens, and that's. They're my favourite type of people. They always have been. I suppose the Beatles were always like that.
Yeah.
You could hear anything from When I'm 64 to I Am the Walrus. I mean, it doesn't even sound like the same band, you know?
No.
So I love that. I think that's very important I hope, you know, more people continue to make albums like that.
Yeah. And do you find, is there a recurring theme in your songs? Do you ever come back to one, theme, is there anything that keeps popping its head up, like you know, some people are mad into love or breakups or this or that? Is there anything that kind of, how would you say,
a constant?
Well, I suppose you know, maybe breakups and you know, difficulties. You know, you're not gonna. I remember somebody saying years ago, you know, the last thing you want to do is write a song when you're happy. You know, you're too busy being happy. You know, you're too busy having a good time. Why the hell would you want to write a song about that?
Yeah,
you're going to write a song when you're a bit miserable and you're feeling a bit melancholy or whatever. And I think that, you know, that's probably what happens. I don't know. I've never thought about it that much, but it just seems to be the way of things. You know, that people generally write songs when they're miserable, you know, for all those reasons, you know.
And do you find it easy to write? Like, do you find it easy to do you just go over to the piano sometimes and start tinkling away and things happen? Or do you say, God, I better go over and write a song? Or, you know.
Does it come to you naturally?
No, I'd never go and say, oh, God, you got to write a song. But ideas will come into my head, and then, you know, I get an idea for the music and maybe some lyrics, but I'd always have to sit down and, you know, bash out the lyrics. That's always the tough bit, you know.
Lyrics are hard.
And just really, you have to, because and you know, you have to get them right. If they're not right, forget about it, you know. But that's it, really.
And a very important question coming up now from Patricia. Are you ready for this now? Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
So what's the dream, basically?
You have to say that again. We were laughing.
What's the dream you have,
What's the dream we're asking you here now? So where would you like to go with your music? Do you want to,
like, where would you see yourself in about 5 years' time with your music?
Hopefully just playing gigs to people who want to hear what I'm playing, you know. Really, it's that simple. And to be able to make it, like, I'm going to be recording a new album now very soon, and just to be able to make a living, really, you know. And hopefully, you know, people get to hear the stuff as you know, far and wide as possible, really.
And have you any, I know things are opening up, have you any gigs lined up, Aengus?
I do, yeah. I'm going to be very near you guys, actually, very soon. On the 4th of September.
Get us on the guest list.
Yeah, do, yeah.
Get us on the guest list, will you?
You're already on the guest list. There's a nice little rider for you there. How many cans did you say you wanted there? You're on?
6.
A few cans, a bottle of Scrumpy Jack. It's the 4th of September, the Clare Morris Folk Festival, which is down the road from you, and it's Saturday the 4th of September. And that was the weekend Electric Picnic, I think, was supposed to go ahead.
Right.
They've put their dates back to the end of September, and, you know, God knows if that's going to go ahead. But this is going ahead, and it's a great festival. I think Luca Bloom, Moxie, the Hot House Flares are playing on it as well. So I'll be there early on the Saturday, and look, it's going to be great. Can't wait. It's supposed to be great crack anyway, you know.
Any gig is at this stage we will take. But that's you're sharing the stage with a nice lineup there. Now, Luca Bloom, I must say that I never seen a man who could make a guitar talk as he's just an amazing man. Great. What he can do with the guitar is brilliant.
And you see, it's a smaller festival, so that's why they're going ahead when a lot of other festivals have been cancelled, you know. So it's brilliant that it's going ahead, and hopefully it'll just open the door and everything else will, you know, start to open up again, you know.
Without a doubt, that is the key.
Actually, a quick question for you, Aengus. I don't have it off the top of my head, but how have you been dealing with lockdown with your music, like?
How have I been gigging?
Dealing with lockdown. Dylan.
Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry, the line. I can never hear people probably on the phone for some reason. It's terrible.
I will hear you.
Sorry, Patricia.
We're broadcasting from Strokestown, so it's a long way away from Dublin. Yeah,
that could be it. And no, I've just been writing, and to be honest, look, I'm promoting my own stuff, so that takes up a huge amount of time.
Yeah,
it's just emailing radio stations and on the phone a lot of the day, and it's a big job. So eventually, I'm just going to have to get somebody to look after all that, because it takes up too much time. It should be recording and that, instead.
Yeah.
But that's it. There's no. I've been full on now since the lockdown happened. So
lockdown really hasn't really bothered
for
you
me.
then, like.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been fine for me, because look, I'd be at home recording anyway, and it's just that I haven't been able to go out and play the songs from the album to people, which that's the only big, the big negative for me. But look, hopefully that will change now.
It will, and when you do get back on stage, you'll have such an array of music to bombard people with, which is great.
Look, it's very exciting to get back, because it'll just be weird, because I suppose people coming in to hear music, they'll be delighted with themselves, and I'll be delighted that I'm able to play again. So look, everybody's going to be delighted to see each other, That's it.
Well, the best of luck with the gig anyway, and we'll try and get to it. Yes. We might even do an outside broadcast from it, actually, Aengus. That'd be good. And the very, very, very best of luck with the new album. Like we're all on for promoting artists here, and especially when they've new music coming out. So it's we wish you the very best of luck with ADHD.
And when is it out, Aengus? What do you say?
Well, it's out now. It's out on all the all the normal digital platforms like Spotify, and you can download it from iTunes and all that stuff. And then it's also on Bandcamp, which I'm sure a lot of people will know. If you just go onto Bandcamp's site, you can download the digital download, and then you can buy a CD as well, which is a bit of a novelty, because not everybody releases stuff on CD or record anymore, so it's everywhere there. If you look it up, you'll find it.
Brilliant. Well, so we're going to play out on a song called Sunflower. So maybe you just want to tell us a bit about that song and how it came to be.
God, it's so long ago. I suppose this was the one that I didn't think was going to go on the album, to be honest with you. And it's, I suppose it's a real little 60s kind of thing, I mean, there's a guy in the US playing it, and I think somebody in the studio said that reminds me of the Monkees, and I hadn't thought of that. But it's just a little funny little kind of 60s guitar-y pop song with a bit of 60s organ in it, and it's the one that I think started out, it was the first single from the album. RTE started playing it around Christmas time, and it's not a very Christmassy song. It's kind of definitely the wrong time of the year to play it. But that's the one that kind of kicked the whole thing off, really. So it's great.
Well, we're playing it at the right time of the year now, because it's roasting outside. Yeah. So I'm going to play it now. But we'd just like to say goodbye and thank you for coming on Our Voice FM, and we will see you over in Claremorris.
Yeah, so we might actually get you in for a live show sometime when COVID disappears.
Oh, I would love to come into you and play as well, and it would be great. Any time, sure, give me a shout. And look, best of luck with the station as well. I know you're only started a while ago, so all the best.
That's perfect, Aengus. Thank you very much, and thanks for the interview. Thanks for taking the time out to take it.
Aengus Devine, thank you so much.
Thank
all the
you.
best.
See you, Patricia. See you, John. Bye.